Guys, the Chinese government is using AI-generated propaganda to influence elections around the world. But don't panic, because luckily, they're very bad at it.
You can make a swarm of assassin drones for very little money by just taking the Face ID chip that's used in cell phones. And
I'm Sapphire, and that clip is the scariest thing I'd ever heard Elon Musk say, until I saw this clip.
Probably a bigger risk than being hunted down by a drone is that AI would be used to make incredibly effective propaganda. Hones the message, looks at the feedback.
Ugh, I don't like that at all. Propaganda is a very powerful tool that can be used for good and is all too often exploited by evil. The Chinese Communist Party, the current government in China, understands this very well and uses propaganda almost constantly in China and abroad to further its own interests. And according to a recent report by the Institute of Strategic Dialogue, one of its current goals is to sow discord during the upcoming US election by posting weird movie posters. America goes back 150 years when people fought with swords. Actually, hang on, is that a sword? Kind of looks just like one long blade. What you're looking at is a social media post from a propaganda campaign called Spamiflage. I find that name very funny because where's the camouflage? This is one of the most conspicuous things I've ever seen. Now, we don't know for sure that these accounts are from the CCP, but last year in April, the US Department of Justice charged 40 people working in the Chinese government for working on an influence campaign that was probably Spamiflage. So what sorts of things is the Chinese government trying to convince people of? Well, recently Spamiflage has been focusing on the upcoming US election and seems to be trying to convince Americans and the international community that the elections will divide America and throw it into chaos. As illustrated by this picture of a not very Trump-looking person and a not very Biden-looking person glaring at each other. He looks kind of happy, actually. I feel like I know what they were going for, but they didn't quite hit the mark. They're also putting out a lot of negative propaganda about Biden and painting Trump as the good guy, which is weird.
They just rip us off, but nobody's ever ripped us off like China.
Ah, yes, Trump on Twitter. Even though he hasn't been on Twitter for 3 years, and it's called X now. You should know. You're posting on it. I do know Biden hasn't been impeached or imprisoned, right? That one is so weird. What is happening, guys? They're also trying to show that the US is in a general state of chaos and have lots of posts focusing on homelessness and drug problems. Opioids are the most... I can't even read it. Let me consume your propaganda! Luckily, Spamiflage is characterized by two things: the massive amount of content they create and the degree to which no one cares. Almost none of these posts generate any engagement and seem to be influencing very few people. So it's always good to keep an eye on what international propaganda campaigns China has going on. I'll see you all next time!